How does a company that booked around $50 million in revenue last year justify spending almost 18 times that amount on a single acquisition? That is the question hanging over Ondas right now, because the drone and autonomous defense platform, ticker ONDS, has agreed to buy DZYNE Technologies in a deal valued at roughly $876 million. By far the biggest move in a buying spree that has already swallowed roughly a dozen companies in about a year. Quick disclaimer before we get into it, this is just my personal take, not financial advice, and you should absolutely do your own research. We have covered Ondas several times on this channel, the border programs, the Mistral merger, the Palantir partnership, so I'll skip the basics and get straight to what matters now, what DZYNE actually brings, how the numbers underneath this whole machine are developing, and then the question I want to spend real time on, because it is the one that decides whether shareholders actually win here, dilution. Harry's, my honest attempt to weigh the ambition against the cost. Let me start with the deal itself, because the structure tells you a lot. Ondas is paying about $200 million in cash, and roughly $675 million in newly issued stock, with more than half of that stock locked up for 6 months. The seller side is led by the private equity firm Highlander Partners, which holds the majority stake in DZYNE. And what Ondas gets is not a startup with a slide deck. DZYNE is a California-grown defense company that, according to the announcement, has had over $500 million of cumulative research and product development poured into its technology, and it brings 3 distinct franchises. The first is long-endurance surveillance aircraft. Its flagship UL-Tray is an autonomous plane that can stay in the air for multiple days at a fraction of the operating cost of traditional spy aircraft, has accumulated tens of thousands of operational flight hours, and recently won a fresh order from the U.S. Air Force Research Laboratory, alongside a second long-endurance platform called LEA, with both aircraft also able to serve as flying communications relays for its newest turbine version after demonstrating 60-hour endurance in testing. The second franchise is counter-drone defense, which DZYNE built up through its own acquisition of Highpoint Aero Technologies. And the third is what the industry politely calls autonomous effects, essentially low-cost strike drones, the affordable mass that modern conflicts have shown militaries burn through in enormous quantities. Management projects DZYNE will generate revenue of $191 million this year and over $300 million next year, and, importantly for a company as loss-making as Ondas, describes DZYNE as already carrying a positive EBITDA margin, meaning it makes money at the operating level rather than being another cash-burning mouth to feed. If those numbers are anywhere near right, Ondas just bought a business with more expected revenue this year than it guided for organically not long ago. Strategically, I think the logic is genuinely coherent, and it is worth seeing how the pieces stack. Ondas has been assembling what it calls a system of systems, worldviews stratospheric balloons watching from the edge of space, Optimus drones and ground robots operating at the tactical edge, counter-drone systems from Sentry Kekit and Iron Drone protecting sites, demining robots and heavy engineering vehicles on the ground, Mistral providing prime contractor access to U.S. Army programs, and Omnises, an Israeli acquisition that closed recently, layering in battle-tested mission software that orchestrates all of it. What was missing was the middle of the sky, aircraft that can sit over a battlefield or a border for days at a time. That's exactly the whole Ultra fills, connecting the stratospheric layer to the tactical edge in one architecture. And the buying has not stopped there. Ondas also agreed to acquire Cyberhawk, a drone inspection and AI analytics company, in a primarily cash deal of about $125 million expected to close later this year, which notably points at commercial infrastructure markets, not just defense. Add an order book that keeps filling, an initial order of roughly $68 million under a $140 million military engineering program, a $10 million initial order under a $50 million border demining award, and management reporting well over $100 million in new orders this quarter alone, and describes a global pipeline in the billions across dozens of program submissions. And you can see the outline of what Ondas is trying to become, not a drone maker, but the platform company of autonomous defense. Now the numbers, because they are genuinely unusual in both directions. In its most recent reported quarter, Ondas delivered about $50 million of revenue, more than 10 times the prior year and up 2/3 from the quarter before, beating the top of its own guidance by a quarter, with gross margin improving to 49% from 35%. Its product companies reached positive adjusted earnings 6 months ahead of the company's own schedule. Full-year guidance has been raised repeatedly this year, from the range of $170 to $180 million in January to at least $375 million in March, to at least $390 million in May. And with the DZYNE announcement itself, management raised it again to $525 million, a figure that now folds in DZYNE and the recently closed ONDS, though notably still excludes the pending Cyberhawk deal. That implies growth on the order of tenfold versus last year, backed by a contracted backlog that exploded from under $70 million at the start of the year to about $457 million. And none of that yet includes DZYNE. The balance sheet is the enabler. Ondas ended the quarter with about $1.5 billion in cash and investments, thanks in large part to selling roughly $1 billion of new stock at the start of the year. But honesty requires the other column too. The company as a whole is still losing money on its preferred adjusted measure. The loss actually widened to around $11 million for the quarter as spending ramps. And management itself expects those losses to peak this quarter before improving, with company-wide adjusted profitability targeted only for early 2028. The headline accounting profit of over $360 million in the quarter was driven overwhelmingly by non-cash gains, not operations, so I would not anchor on it. And that brings me to the part you asked me not to gloss over, so I will not: dilution. Almost everything impressive about this story has been paid for with new shares. The billion-dollar cash pile came from selling stock. The DZYNE price is roughly 3/4 new stock. Earlier deals in the spree were funded from cash that itself came from issuing shares. Every one of those shares makes your existing slice of the company smaller, and there's a second-order risk here too. More than half of the DZYNE stock consideration is locked up for only 6 months, and the seller is a private equity firm, which, if it chooses to exit after the lockup expires, would add supply of shares to the market. So the entire investment case compresses into a single race. Revenue and, eventually, profit per share have to grow faster than the share count. If Ondas converts its backlog, integrates a dozen acquisitions cleanly, and hits the profitability timeline, shareholders end up owning smaller slices of a vastly more valuable company, and this era gets remembered as brilliant capital allocation. If integration stumbles, and integrating 12 companies in 18 months is exactly the kind of thing that has broken many ambitious roll-ups, or if the next deals get sloppier, then shareholders paid for an empire with their ownership and got dilution in return. Layer on the ordinary risks: heavy dependence on government customers and defense budgets, meaningful exposure to programs in Israel and other geopolitically sensitive regions, competition from far bigger and better funded rivals, and a valuation that already assumes years of flawless growth. And you have a stock where the ambition and the risk are both enormous. So where do I land? I'll be honest with you, I remain bullish on Ondas, and I want to be precise about why. This is, in my opinion, one of the most aggressive and coherent platform builds happening anywhere in defense tech. Real orders, a backlog that keeps compounding, product businesses that already turned profitable ahead of schedule, and now, with DZYNE, proven aircraft with actual Pentagon traction rather than promises. The strategy has a clear shape and the balance sheet to execute it. But my bullishness comes with one non-negotiable watch item, and it is the same one I flagged throughout: the share count. In my view, the single most important thing to track from here is not the next contract headline. It is whether revenue per share keeps rising, whether the deals keep being bought at sensible prices, and whether management shows it can digest what it has already swallowed before reaching for the next plate. If they demonstrate that discipline, I think this could mature into one of the defining defense platforms of the decade. If they do not, the growth will be real, but shareholders will not fully feel it. I could be wrong about all of this. I'm one person reading filings and announcements, not an insider, and roll-up stories are notoriously hard to judge from the outside until the integration numbers show up. So please treat everything here as opinion and research, not advice. Nothing in this video is a recommendation to buy or sell anything. I'm not a financial advisor, and a fast-moving, still unprofitable defense consolidator deserves real caution and your own homework. If real money is on the line for you, talk to someone qualified. And now over to you. Drop a comment and tell me which stock you want me to break down next, because the best ideas on this channel keep coming from you.